Thanks for joining me here at Imola for the first weekend of Formula SimRacing of the season. This is the Division 3 race, or otherwise known as Academy or ACA race. It's an all-new car for 2021. It's in fact inspired by the regs for the real-life 2022 cars. And it is a no-frills, very fast but no-frills package. There is no DRS. There are no engine modes. The tyres are very durable, but the car has very high performance, limited fuel range, 48 litre tank. So it's all about pure racing on circuit. No clever strategies of using different engine modes and saving fuel or blasting fuel or switching tyre strategies. It is all about pure racing. As the 30 cars warm up on the grid, I'll just explain why I'm here in the Division 3. I was signed up for Division 4 AMA, and I'm just trying to get a lot of heat into the tyres here, but had some real issues with an attempted pit lane start. I was really anticipating a very ugly Sector 1 Lap 1 in AMA, and to their credit that didn't happen, but I was decided to start in pit lane and was waiting for the light to turn green, and it just never did. I reckon the leader was at the end of Sector 1 and the light was still red, so I thought there's a problem here. So I left pit lane and was instantly disqualified. The race director kindly undisqualified me. By the time he was able to make me aware of that and I got back out of the garage and drove down pit lane, the cars were coming back around to complete lap 1. So I was swamped with a whole lot of cars that were basically up a lap on me, and after blue flag and eventually a drive-through penalty, I called it a day. That guy there is trying to warm his tyres a bit too aggressively. Makes a big difference to get the heat in, because these tyres don't go onto the car hot. They don't come out of tyre warmers, virtual tyre warmers. You've got to get some heat into them. So I've been doing a couple of burnouts and trying to work the front tyres really aggressively as we come around here. I'm starting on the absolute back row because I stuck with the same philosophy but decided to do it this time by not even qualifying. My pace would have probably put me a couple of rows from the back, maybe 3 rows maximum. My quality pace was sort of a mid to high 127 and 117, and the top guys are low 17s and even a high 16. So race pace, I'm about 1.7 seconds off the leader's pace, I think. So we're ready to go here. I'm watching carefully and just prepared to be ultra conservative as we start. The couple of cars will start to smoke now, which they do when the oil gets to 130 degrees. You get smoke out of the exhaust. The blue car starts early, and I'm just tiptoeing along here and see already wheels flying, and there is an absolute maelstrom of carnage here. It's like a war zone. Wheels flying around, cars around the place. Car on fire there on the right if you have a little look, and it is just incredible. It's like driving through a battle scene, and it's making me feel pretty pleased that I in fact decided to start from the back of the grid. And it's not over yet, because as we exit Villeneuve, somebody else has dropped it and heading into Tozer, and this is a tricky corner every lap of the race. We've got somebody who's lost it to the outside of Tozer there. Now, I don't know if you've been keeping count, but I think that was 17 passes I made in Sector 1 of Lap 1 at Imola, and I'm feeling pretty special because the car is undamaged. I'm on the track, and I think I'm running at this stage about P13. Unbeknownst to me, the dark blue car has lost its front wing, but the light blue car's made a pretty bold move into Variante Alta. The dark blue car's being a bit conservative. I have a bit of kick of throttle oversteer there on cold tyres. And I'm just watching and waiting and just keeping an eye on stuff here. The yellow car seemed to come out of nowhere, and he's been very aggressive on his way through. And now I notice the missing front wing and decide I can sneak around the inside. And I have a little look back to see what's going on behind me, and I complete lap 1 in actually 12th place. So lap 6, I'm just going to give you an external view of the start events that occurred. And it was one of those blue cars up the front and on the right hand side there. The poor guy just had a computer freeze, and so when the lights went out, he just simply did not move. You can see the lights on the left hand side there. Lights will go out and one of those blue cars does not move, and bang, instant contact. And once that had occurred, there were bits flying everywhere, and with the limited visibility due to smoke and everything, it was not going to end well. In the dizzy heights of 10th or 11th, this red car made a fantastic move here around the outside into Tamburello, and you know, following along with my conservative philosophy of not having contact, not having damage, he had a great move on me and was certainly alongside or even past me before the turning point. So I figured the safest way to make room for him was to just back off and get out of the way and let him have that pass, because he earned it. He was on the hard tyres, so he's going pretty well really, considering I'm on the soft tyres. There's a difference in my reckoning of about a half to 0.6 of a second per lap between the two compounds of tyres, but even the soft tyre, it is good for a full tank of fuel. 48 litre tank of fuel. We're running it, someone had an off there at the second part of Aqua Minerale. So with a full tank of fuel, 2.67 litres a lap, we're talking about 17 lap stint. And at the end of the 17 lap stint, even the soft tyres are still showing high 70s, 77, 78% wear on the worst tyres. So the car is still quick, and what you're losing in tyre performance, you're gaining in fuel depletion. So you're running pretty constant lap times. So we jump ahead now. This is the end of lap 6, and this is my big error of the race. And the second Ravazza, you're really trying to be patient because it's a tight turn. Your tyres are heated pretty heavily through that two left-handers of Ravazza. But at the same time, if you don't get a fantastic exit from the second part of Ravazza, you are just going to get smoked down the start-finish line by the people that are chasing you. So that error allowed these two guys in front of me to get ahead, and they're now getting pretty hot and heavy in their own little battle, and that's a pretty nice thing to see. There's the only thing nicer than seeing a couple of people fighting behind you and a couple of people fighting in front of you. And the dark blue car then had a bit of an off just before we arrived at Tosa, and he's allowed me back through. So I've temporarily at least jumped ahead of the dark blue car, and I'm back in hot pursuit of the other car in front of me, which got past after my little trip on the grass onto the start finish straight at the exit of the second Ravazza. Now, very tricky through there the whole race. There's a few parts on this lap which were just a challenge the whole race, and as we come back through, the dark blue cars pulled off a fantastic exit from the second Ravazza onto the pit straight, and getting a great slipstream from my good self in the Blue Voss car, and pulls out to make a pass into the Tamburello. And at this point he's ahead of me. There is absolutely no point debating that one or disputing that one, because it is just going to end in contact. So I'm back behind both those two guys again. Now it's lap 13, and one of the cars ahead has pulled into the pit lane. There's a fair bit of flexibility in the fuel strategy here, because we needed 104 litres for the race, and a tank is 48 litres, so you can split that a lot of different ways. So lap 13 was a pretty early stop. I'm planning to stop the full tank range at lap 17, and two of my competitors ahead have gotten hot and heavy in the first Ravazza, and that has now won me back 2 places. So I'm back in good shape now, and in fact I'm now campaigning in the heady heights of P6, and it's a fun it's a fun but a challenging feeling. But I pull into the pits because I can see things getting very intense behind me, and I pit a lap or two early, lap 15 from lap 16 actually. I pit from 6th place to grab another set of soft tyres and 40 litres of fuel. My whole race strategy was about minimising pit lane time, so carrying a full belly of fuel off the start line, then taking 40 litres for the second option stint, which gave me pretty much 2 full tanks of fuel almost on the options. And we have to run the prime at some stage, so I'm under attack here, really big attack from the guy in the blue car, and he continues to do that now for about 10 laps, having a good look every time we get down to Tamburello. So I'm constantly under pressure here now from that blue car. I do for a short while pull off a little bit of a mini gap, and at this stage I'm running, after that pit stop, running 14th or 15th, which is probably my true race position. Over the next laps, more and more people pit, and that then shoots me back up temporarily into higher positions. Now we fought hard, the dark blue car and myself, for 8 or 9 laps, and most laps he managed to have a bit of an attack down into the first complex, which is the Variante Tamburello. And now if ever you've wanted to channel Jarno Trulli and tried to understand the pressure that Jarno Trulli faced when there was a truly mammoth Trulli train behind him, that was kind of the position I was feeling. I was running in P6. It was lap 26 of 38, and there was a lot of cars behind me. Now the light blue cars joined the fray, and he pulls off a magnificent move on the dark blue car, and he's decided that he's not going to hang around waiting and gets it done. But unfortunately it all comes unstuck at the second part of Villeneuve and unsettles the dark blue car and the yellow car behind me, and as they exit Tosa, we have a throttle oversteer moment from at least one of them, and I have that amazing feeling then when a little bit of that truly trained pressure eases, because two of my immediate pursuers have had a bit of a moment. And you can never take the exit of the Variante Alta for granted. You can see there the dark coloured car getting a big boot full of throttle oversteer on the exit of that Variante Alta. And now it's lap 32, and it is time for me now to pit from 6th place and grab some primes for the run home. It's only going to be a 6-lap prime stint, and I've optimized that because by the time you get prime tyres you can get a free 16 litre fuel top up. So that's exactly what I did, having a mega short stint on the primes and a mega quick final stop. But that's dropped me back into about 15th place, and I've still got a yellow car on my tail there as we work our way around the final short prime stint. The primes were definitely a step harder and a step down in grip on the options. For me in testing, I found that I did need to make a front wing angle adjustment of 1 click. Now looking in my rear view, I can see the guy behind me is on options, but I'm just hoping they're well-worn options, because certainly the outlap on the primes is a bit nasty. But I've got my wing where I need it. I've got the car working okay. I know where to push. I seem to be having pretty good sector 2 the whole race through. My quickest lap was about a 1:19, and I think the fastest lap of race was something like a low to mid 1:17. So I probably ended up maybe 1.7 seconds per lap off the pace of the podium guys in Division 3. So it wasn't a bad day out. I was pleased to get on the grid, pleased to do a race. It was a 38 lapper instead of the 32 lapper that I'd prepared for, and to bring it home undamaged, and to go up a division and come home in the points. With a 14th place finish, I earned two points in Division 3, and so it ended up, after the disappointment and excitement of pretty much a non-event in AMA Division 4, to run the whole race of Division 3 and to come home with some points. It was a pretty good feeling as I go the last time through Variante Alta and down the hill to deal with the 2 Ravazzas. It's not been a bad afternoon. Thanks very much for coming and having a quick look. Hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck to you all, and hope to see you on the track.